Hey friends, Pastor Michael from Organic Church, here with Sydney Erickson, Don Reed, Beth Jarvis, Nick Offolter, and Pastor Roger Deerdorf. Beth says she doesn't have any of the verses she wants.
Well, then we're screwed. 'Cause
She keeps it together.
probably the only. Well, Dawn's looking up stuff.
Dawn's got stuff.
I have two, but
Okay. I don't even know what the topic
We're
is.
on.
Yeah, I don't even know the topic.
So the topic. Well, wait.
We didn't do pleasantry.
Yeah, pleasantry.
Yeah, welcome back.
Soft entry.
Yeah, soft entry. Pleasantries.
Yeah.
Doctor.
Whatever.
Doctor.
we haven't started yet.
Yes, we have.
Oh yeah. I just hit it.
Beth's headphones aren't even on.
I'm still digging.
Not that
for
she
my
couldn't hear us
Bible
though.
Welcome to the show.
verse. I know what I want. I just can't.
Welcoming
find it.
Beth to the show.
Sorry, Beth. I'm trying to make it fun.
Yeah.
So when people listen, they're like, "What are they talking
What
about?"
are they doing?
But I was only on 20 seconds when you asked, so it wasn't too much we talked about. How's everyone's week?
Mine's great.
Yeah.
I'm on vacation.
It's rolling along.
Vacay mode.
And I'm talking legitimate vacation. Apparently, Beth texted me at some point. I still haven't responded. And honestly, I'll text her back on Monday.
You don't need to. We accomplished. As I followed you,
I will
through
still.
having
I'll
our
still text you
chit-chat.
back on Monday, just so there's an official on record
There you go.
response.
Professional response.
Yeah, I did realize while I'm on vacation, I have a fish tank in my office.
Mhm.
It's just got a goldfish in it and some snails, nothing crazy. But I realized I didn't ask anybody to feed my fish for me. So I text my new customer service director, and I was like, hey, any chance you could feed my fish? She says, I have been. It's not going to die on my watch. Right after she started, we shared an office space just so she could be in close proximity with me.
Yeah.
And while I was off like Friday, Saturday, Sunday on a long weekend. And she sends me a picture on Friday, and I had two goldfish, and the one was it was bobbing at the bottom of the tank, and it had a great big sore on its side. She's like, "Is it sick?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll have to flush it on Monday." So I blame her for killing my fish. I said, "I leave you alone with my fish for 3 days, and they're dead."
I'm glad somebody else gets blamed for something.
Oh.
Yeah.
There's probably a Roger at every one of his.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's a Roger. There's a Roger everywhere. I've always got a Roger. So, anything else fun for anybody else?
Oh, I had the day off.
Oh,
Again. Yay.
Mm.
I didn't know I was going to have the day off.
Do you have certain times in the year where you're more busy or less busy?
Well, in the summer, I take care of him
Yeah.
at home. So every day,
Yeah.
usually, Monday
Wow.
through Friday. But they had an appointment in Pittsburgh today, so
Mm.
Oh,
I had the day off.
forgot to mention it. So you had the day.
Yes,
I think.
she's like, I said, what time do you need me tomorrow? She's like, we're going to Pittsburgh tomorrow, so you can have the day off.
Hey, but
Right.
you know what? Sometimes those unexpected days off are the best.
Are the best. Yeah.
You know,
The yard mode.
I was going to say, all I've done on my vacation is work, but it's stuff that I wouldn't get done while I'm at
Normally,
work.
yeah.
Right. So I'm thankful for it. We got our homeschool room set up. So
Nice.
we were doing homeschool in the dining room upstairs, and it was just chaotic because there was there are always workbooks and their rulers and their pens and their markers and whatnot. Just always kind of crazy. And so we took what used to be the family room in the basement. We converted it to a homeschool room. It's decked out. Like, this thing is ready to go. It cost me to pick the pink color like $70
To pick it?
to pick it. So because we buy Sherwin-Williams paint.
Yeah.
So,
So,
because
yeah.
I'm telling you, it's best of the best. You
Yeah.
can't get better than that. This message is brought to you by Sherwin-Williams.
Sherwin-Williams.
I will 100% back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we go Emerald, top of the line. I always buy it when it's on sale. It's either buy one, get one half off or something of that nature, 30% off something. Anyhow, so we go and we get those little samples. And Alyssa gives me 4 colors that she wants. So I go and get all 4 samples. They're like $10 a piece. None of them are right. So we go back and we take another stab at it. None of them are right. So she finally hops online and she's like searching. She knew what she wanted, but we couldn't get there. And we got there. It's still not exactly what she wanted, but it is okay. It's nice. So
Well, my sister, we were at Lowe's the other day so I saw this TikTok where you take babies to Lowe's and let them see all the lights, and they're like, "Ooh, Cooper could care less."
He's like, show me the plumbing supplies.
He's like, "This is what we're doing today, Mom." Really?
Got any pipe wrenches?
But she's been wanting to do paint on like her bathroom vanity, like a green, like emerald greenish, army green. So she's like, well,
wait. Army green and
it's
emerald
completely
green are two
different.
different
So
things.
it's kind of like a sage green.
Okay.
like in between
There you
those.
So
Yeah.
that's the world that we were
Yeah.
living in. That's
Really?
the color we were trying
We
to
probably
pick.
bought your
Yeah.
mist tint.
Yeah. No, I didn't.
No?
No, I buy mine at Sherwin-Williams because
Oh.
Beth and I just talked about this. Valspar paint is different than Sherwin-Williams paint. You can get the Sherwin-Williams colors at Lowe's, but the paint is not as nice.
Oh,
Flat
I didn't
out.
know that.
Yes, always
Spend
go
the money.
to Sherwin-Williams. I'm telling you. But if she
Yeah.
needs some extra,
I'll let her know.
let me know.
Well, because she was like, well, it's not too much of a difference because it was $15 for the mist tint, and then like it was clearance, But she's like, I'm going to be like $30. I'm like, I don't know, Shy. And I said, because you have to select like if it's going to be satin and
Yes.
all
Yep.
the things. And she rings it up. She ends up taking like the clearance one. It would have originally been like $53.98. I'm like, see.
Was it the right color? Does she?
It
like
was. I was gonna say it was pretty close. Like it might be a little lighter than she thought.
Do you know what
but, like,
color it was?
I don't.
Mm.
I'll ask her.
We
though.
went with Acacia Haze.
Acacia Haze.
Acacia Haze.
That sounds like a famous swimmer or
Ex-
something.
Accessible beige, and then the big wall is accented with Acacia Haze.
Huh.
It was terrible. I can't tell you how many green color samples I've got in my basement
They've
now.
probably seen you pull in the parking lot. Oh, they're here.
No, listen. When I went back for the we settled on Acacia Haze. I went in and I told the lady I need 2 gallons of accessible beige, 2 gallons of Acacia Haze, and she goes, "Oh, you finally picked one."
Why, yes, I
That's
did.
a bad day. That's a bad day.
All right. So tonight's topic is: what do you think are the consequences of Christians not practicing what they preach? Card drop.
Am I allowed to use names? No, probably not.
No
That's
names.
not fair. That's not fair.
Well, you can use mine because you always do.
Change to protect.
Yes, the names have been changed to protect the identities.
But don't you think we all can struggle
Oh.
with all
Oh,
of
yeah.
that 100%?
Absolutely. But here's the damage that I think that we do. And I will tell this story before I poke at everybody else. Okay. So when I was leading worship, I was fairly newly minted into the Christian world. And I, at the time, did not have a problem having a drink every now and again. Now, I'm not talking, I have never really been at the 21, 22 age, I would drink to get drunk. But past that, I never really, I just enjoyed wine or a sangria or something of that nature. Okay. And occasionally I will still have a glass of wine, but it's a glass. And I know that I don't do anything more than that because not that I will get drunk, but I don't even want to appear as such. So, and I also have a rule for my teams. So anybody who is on a team with me, if you like to drink alcohol, again, I can't tell you not to do that. It'd be the same as telling you can't smoke cigarettes. I'm not going to win that battle. No social media posts. And the reason is nobody knows on social media if that's your first or your 10th, right? That's a fair
That's right.
statement, right?
Yeah.
So, okay. So I posted on Facebook.
This was when you were
back when I was
worship
leading
leader?
worship.
Okay.
I posted on Facebook that I had bought a bottle of sangria. And I got a really, really mean message from a teenager's mom who said, "My kid looks up to you and this does not make me happy." And I was like, whoa, never thought about it. You know what I mean? I'm leading worship. I'm standing in a position of power every Sunday telling people drugs are bad and like out drinking. So I think what happens, one of the things that happen, how is it worded? The consequences is you get called out for your crap.
Right.
Right.
Like when you aren't walking the walk, but you're telling everybody, "Oh, well, I'm a Christian," people are going to eventually say, "Well, if that's what Jesus looks like, I don't want anything to do with it."
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, because for me, you lose your credibility.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yep.
I kind of had something similar in high school, actually, and she was in youth group. She actually might have went here at one point. Maybe. No, I don't think
Don't
so.
say her name.
I'm not going to.
Okay.
But
That's too bad though, because I want to know.
I'll just say I was in an extracurricular activity.
That's not helping me at all.
I can't
It's not
say too
helping me.
much. I can't say too much. But she got pregnant.
Woof.
And she got pregnant, and I, during the off season, we'll say, I kind of was taking her spot Well, then she comes back and they just give it to her right away.
Mhm.
And I'm like, wait a minute.
Mm.
And I went to the coach. I said, hey, when I was in I think it was second through sixth grade, I said, I can remember who that catcher was because I just said it. Sorry. Okay. I can remember who that catcher was because I always looked up to her when I went to those games. And I'm like, not that you shouldn't give that back to her, but at least, maybe
Yeah.
face us off together or
Yep.
something, like just
There should be
automatically gave it right back
some level
to her.
of fairness. Agreed.
Yeah. So I know.
Agreed.
But again, I mean,
I think I know now, by the way. I'm not positive. I'm actually not even remotely positive, but I am thinking through it. And
yeah.
if they did attend here, it could only be one person that I can think of. So,
Yeah.
Sometimes you will be the only, like a walking Bible
Mm-hmm.
people see.
Yep.
Yeah.
I say that about our community. Our community specifically, there are churches on every corner, right?
Yeah.
But most of the people will never set foot in one. So when they see somebody who is a Christian, you have one opportunity, and as Pastor Janie said, you have 30 seconds, and that will determine whether or not they are seeing Christ or they're seeing the world.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I'm going
Most
to change
people
subject here.
Okay, go ahead. Pivot.
I'm Pastor Janie. So, my daughter, I don't know what her little.
Does she drive a little black car?
Yep.
Does she have a sun tattoo on her hand?
Yep.
I saw her today. I was right next to her to stoplight, and I was hoping she'd look.
Was it a little black? No, it's red. I take it back. It's
never
red.
mind then.
A little red.
Are you
Never mind.
colorblind?
No, it was
Yeah,
definitely
but
black.
she was raised in church, but she's got some far off ideas
Yeah.
sometimes. And so I was able to use Pastor Janie's little 30-second talk, and she gave me an hour and
Wow.
15 minutes to
Wow.
talk.
Nice.
And then
Well-
I went from that to the new book that I'm reading, and it's the
Yeah.
Lineage of Grace, and it's
That's awesome.
about the 5 women that come
Yeah.
up to Jesus' birth.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you what, those women.
Yeah.
I mean, Rahab
Superior.
was a prostitute.
Yep.
You know, I
Right.
mean, all kind of things.
Yeah.
But she listened and didn't shut me down.
I think there is
You have to meet in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's a way to do it. There's always a way to do it. It just has to be you have to be willing to do it with grace too. If she would have said stop, then that means
Yeah.
stop. It's non-consensual Jesus contact at that
Right.
point.
Yeah.
And what were we talking about? I'll never say the word right. The affirmities.
So stupid. What?
Oh, affirmations?
Affirmations.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, that's just like the affirmations, Mom.
Mm-hmm.
And, and I said, well, do you realize that most of them are all scripture? She's
Yeah.
like, no way.
Gotcha.
So, I mean, it was wonderful. So, okay.
Now,
Never mind.
did Pastor Janie say something that you
She was
leaked to her?
She was here on Saturday.
Okay.
For a women's meeting.
Yeah.
Yes, and it was do you really want to go there was kind of the title of the thing.
Yeah.
And what she said was you have 30 seconds to decide do you really want to go there? When you have an interaction with somebody,
that person.
30 seconds to decide how am I going to respond?
If that, I feel like.
Or even responding with ourselves.
Yeah.
When
Correct.
Satan starts playing
Yep.
with our mind and putting negative things in, do you really want to go there?
Well,
Right.
I got 30 seconds
Yeah.
to capture that, let it go,
Yeah.
think positive.
and I also I take that one step further in the response portion because I think there are two things that you can do. You can either respond or react. Most people react rather than respond. So if somebody, I had a lady one time, this lady was not nice is the only way to describe her. And she would come at me every which way because she wanted me to blow up. But because I knew that,
Yeah.
I would be as cool as a cucumber every time she would speak to me.
And you
I
just
mean,
made her madder and madder.
exactly. And that wasn't my intent, but I wasn't going to blow up because I
Right.
knew what was going to happen if I did blow
Yeah.
up. I was going to give her what she wanted and I was going to get in trouble for it. So I just cool as a cucumber. And man, the day she got fired was just the best day of my life. Cuz I was like, you didn't win. Like you aren't going to get what you want. So yeah. But the reaction is the easy part. The reaction is the worldly part. It's the,
Right.
you know what? And that's when you start calling names. That's when you start, you
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Because
It's the very
Because
immature.
it's natural to do.
Yep.
It's the
That's what
easy
the rest
part.
of the world's
easy,
doing.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's the easy thing to do. Nick, what were you going to say earlier? He doesn't remember.
I was going to say most people, I think, are always looking to knock Christians off their pedestal.
Oh, yeah.
Anyhow.
Yep.
if they're not part of a church. They're just looking for that moment to prove to everybody, see, they're really not who
That aha
they
moment.
are. Aha.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my feeling always is it's almost like we're ambassadors for Christ, and just like in politics, if somebody wants you to be the ambassador of France, then they're not going to pick somebody who has a discrimination against the French.
Yeah.
You want to put your best foot forward.
Speaking of Pastor Janie, how about that? Too bad we don't have an extra microphone. We just drag her in.
Her ears must have been ringing.
That's funny. That's hilarious.
The ambassador part.
Yeah, always putting our best foot forward.
Yeah.
As Christians is a very important thing because it's, like I said, most people want to knock you off that pedestal, or if somebody truly is looking for your help, they don't want somebody who's coming at them with judgment, and criticism and beating them down, because most likely they're already beating themselves up.
Yep.
Whether they realize it or not, they're at a point in their life where they don't have much confidence. They don't know what to do with themselves. So I think that's important that, we do have to, every time we're in one of those tough situations, we have to be ready to respond and not react.
Yep.
Because it only takes once.
And I think you were saying like the ambassador thing, like, us just being like representatives and whatnot of the church and Christ. But also I think it compares because people are constantly trying to push, presidents, like anyone that's government off of their pedestal, just trying to like trip them up. And that's exactly what they're doing to us too.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and we have to remember, we've all got skeletons in our closet.
Oh, yeah.
All of us.
Yeah.
But God loves us right where we are. That grace.
Yeah,
and mercy.
I don't think you can be a truly...
Some of us have literal skeletons in our
That's a funny story. Because
No, it's not. Stop, Sid.
No, okay, it's not.
She's like, I was digging up under my basement. I found two, and I was like, oh, these aren't mine. And Chase was like, I don't know.
Are you going to tell us about one of your podcast episodes?
No, my personal.
Oh, geez.
No, someone I knew had passed away, and I was talking to someone else. Like, yeah, that was too, that's too bad. That's a shame. Da 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 da. And she's like, yeah, he just had too many skeletons in his closet, and I'm like, I thought she was being literal. I'm like,
Like, what do you mean?
what? And I we kept talking, and then I'm like, wait, was he into like voodoo and stuff? She's like, what? And I'm like, you said he had skeletons in his closet.
Oh my goodness gracious!
I had never heard.
No.
You've never heard? Oh,
Not
I
up
forgot.
until like 2 or 3 years ago.
I forgot. You're young.
This not on topic at all, but I watched the Jeffrey Dahmer documentary, and I didn't know that he was like into taxidermy.
Yeah.
Like that should have been a red flag right away. Like not as a profession, but as a hobby.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
that's not a hobby.
Like
That's right out of
when he was
Psycho.
That's like
Yeah.
that
Out
is
of the movie.
Well, that's a hobby.
Norman Bates' hobby.
No.
You're not.
Taxidermy.
You're not taxiderming people. Well,
no,
you can,
Roger.
You can peel
stop
skin right off.
Stop while you're ahead, buddy, because we're all going to start to check your house.
I was gonna say.
He was young though.
I was
Right.
Yeah, he was like 5 or 6 when he started with
Yeah.
his dad, which I
his
don't know.
dad. Well, it's just okay. And again, I'm not trying to not recommending anybody watch this, but it's like Dexter. His dad teaches him how to hunt,
Yeah.
which teaches him how to kill people. Like, don't
Yeah.
there are red flags all around this. Like,
Mm-hmm.
jeez. Anyhow,
Yeah.
Anywho,
So how do we transition from Dahmer to
meanwhile, back at the ranch.
Well, our actions as well as our words can be a witness to Christ. So, we have to be on our toes all the time.
Mm-hmm. I think the trick behind that is that the mistake becomes that your good actions will get you into heaven. That's not the
Right.
case.
Mm-mm.
Those actions become part of the fruit that you are bearing because you are a Christian. So you are nice, you are kind, you are gentle, you are respectful because you are saved.
right?
You aren't saved
Right.
because you are kind and respectful
Right,
and nice and helpful and
Yeah.
all
Yes.
of those things. And listen, sometimes we have to be helpful in situations we don't want to be helpful in.
That's right.
Sometimes you have to go and do things you don't want to go and do because sometimes people just need the extra help. I don't like it. Like, listen, honestly, It is the worst. Like, never
When you
mind.
say that, honestly, I always think about the
Honestly.
psychiatrist I went to.
After you
I
found
was-
skeletons in your closet.
It was part of a. It was a part of a. What do I want to say? Lost my words here, but
Was it
it was
mandatory?
part of a custody thing. with
Oh,
my
okay.
niece. Like
Yeah.
I had.
It was
to go see a
required to do it.
psychiatrist.
Yeah.
And I used the word honestly, and
Mhm.
every time I said it, he would lecture me on using that phrase. Almost like if you use honestly, that means
You're lying.
You're lying.
Yes.
No, it's just one of your filler words.
Right.
Because, like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a friend that always used honestly, and I'd say seriously.
mhm.
I had a friend who would say legitly.
Ooh.
I'm like, first of all, that's not even a word.
I've been saying literally, like, I caught myself before here. I was telling Chase, I'm like, oh, stop saying that. Like, I'm
Yeah.
thinking to myself, like,
Yep.
why?
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody's got a catchphrase.
Yeah.
You know,
Mine's bazinga. Just kidding. It's not really.
So,
Sheldon Cooper.
funny story, whenever I worked, I'll just say on a phone all day. My
receptionist.
Yeah, my boss's wife had me stop saying just like,
Mm.
hey, this is a reminder, or
This is
So,
just
yeah.
a reminder.
just calling to confirm.
Yes. Calling
So
to
you know.
confirm. Yes.
Yeah.
Another thing that I learned is that the ly words, your filler words,
Mhm.
so whatever they may be, those actually are less impressive than just saying the
Just being
statement.
direct.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Grammarly, I don't know if anybody uses Grammarly on their computers. I use it for
Oh.
everything. It corrects your spelling. You can actually set your tone so you can say aggressive or
Oh.
soft or gentle or caring or whatever, and it will address whatever it is that you've written. But we use it for our customer service agents. So whenever they're responding to a guest, if it's a guest who's mad because of something with their stay, you can type, I'm sorry, I think you smell like dirty feet. And then you can go up and you can tell it gentle, and it will rewrite that statement for you and make
Yeah.
it so that it's soft. And so because that's hard to do when you get
Uh-huh.
yelled at all day
Uh-huh.
long, when you have nothing but
Yeah.
complaints all day long, it's hard to do.
Yeah.
So they do.
Yeah.
We use that to help soften the blow.
Yeah.
But Grammarly will take almost all of those ly words out, which is funny to me because it's Grammarly. But it
Well, there was
almost-
a famous author that said if you really want to improve your writing, anytime you find yourself using an ly word, take it out
Mhm.
and use something else.
Yep.
And it will automatically improve your sentence or improve what you're really trying to get across.
There you go.
I had a teacher in 6th grade, and if you were talking to her and said or
You had to start over.
like or even a combination for more than 3 times in your sentence, or whatever you're talking about, she would just tell you to go sit down.
Yeah. My kids are not allowed to start a sentence with so.
Mm.
If they start with so, start over again. Emmett is terrible about it. What happened? So I was start again. Well, I was just start again. Like I don't do the
Mhm.
tell me the facts. I don't need to know what you were doing. I need
Right.
to know what the problem is.
Yeah.
Which goes back to the don't tell me about the labor pain, show me a baby.
Mhm.
I don't want to hear, I don't need the backstory.
Mhm.
Allow me to ask the questions to get to where I need to be.
Yeah.
I just need to know what happened. If you wrecked the car, all I need you to say is, Dad, I wrecked the car.
I wrecked the car.
Okay, what happened? Now, were you driving? Were you drinking? I'm going to ask qualifying questions at this point. I don't need we were at so-and-so's house
Yeah.
and we went over to, no, I don't need any of that. I just need to know what happened.
Cut and dried.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yep.
A, B, and C.
A, B, and C.
I used to be like that when people would call off and they're like, well, I've got
Nope.
this to do and this to do. Yes or no.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, you're going to pick up the shift or no,
Mhm.
Yes.
please.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I probably said it in that tone
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. Can you please
Or
just
worse.
answer me? Can you?
Yeah, but they're wasting your time.
Yep.
Like you are
Yeah, because
On the fly, you need to find
one
someone.
of those call offs a half hour before,
Right.
Yep.
the nurse
Mhm.
should be on the road.
Mhm.
That's very inappropriate.
Absolutely.
So I gave my story, and now I'm trying to think. Oh, well, I don't know if I want to share that one.
Maybe better not.
Yeah, if I question it, the other
If you question it, you shouldn't say
I
it.
was
Yeah.
gonna say another lesson
that was the Holy Spirit.
another lesson that I have learned in life is that if somebody calls me and says, "Hey, do you think I should say or should I talk to?" My answer is no. If you had to call me to ask me, that means you already think it's a bad idea. You're hoping that I'm going to justify
Right.
it. So the answer is probably no, don't do it.
We were going back with love letters back and forth. No, not just kidding. Okay, cool. I'm in the driver's seat. B and C?
Yes. So B is the one that you want. C is N.
Okay.
That's why it's purple.
We should have a picture of Margie's face there. A cricket for A.
Oh, goodness.
I was like having a freak out mode because someone said something about Nick. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. What's Margie minute?
And I think the world too, if they catch us off guard or, we do not hold up to our, the word hypocrisy comes to mind.
Mm-hmm.
They're nothing but a bunch of hypocrites.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do always love to justify that with, we all are. What better place to be?
Yeah.
If I'm going to be a hypocrite, I'd
Yeah,
rather
that's a
be a
good point.
hypocrite in church
Mm-hmm.
than a hypocrite in the world.
Yeah.
At least I'm trying.
Absolutely.
I'm genuinely trying. One of the things that I tell everybody is that what I try to be is super real about my life. I don't try to hide anything.
Yeah.
I don't want anybody to think that I'm better than anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And so I never go into anything with a preconceived notion that I'm going to do it better than somebody else.
Yeah.
I always think I'm going to do it my way, and if that doesn't work, then we'll try something else.
Mm-hmm.
I think the problem is that the world doesn't give us that opportunity.
Hmm.
The world expects us as Christians, we should just be able to do. So you should just always have the right answers. It's unfortunate that it's like that, but we have to be prepared for that too. So when we meet the world where they are, we know that it's not always going to be easy to do or fun to do because they're going to expect certain things out of us that maybe we are not conditioned for. I was not conditioned for prayer, and what I mean by that is like laying on of hands whenever I took over the church. I was not prepared for that. And it's still not something I'm comfortable
Guess we got to fake it till we make it, which is wrong.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. No, and so when we had one person leave the church, and they actually called Pastor Rod, who was at the time my district, or not my district, my area supervisor, and they said, well, he won't even have a service until Pastor Holly prays over him, which was not true. It was not true at all. But it is true that if Pastor Holly's not here, typically we don't have ministry time because I am, and it's not that I can't, it's that I'm not comfortable.
Well,
but when the Spirit moves, I have done it, and I will continue to do it when the Spirit moves. But
and I think it goes back to you need to delegate things to other people because you're
not
drained
something I'm good at.
Yeah, it's not something you're good at.
Nope.
And then even if you are good at it, you can still get drained, and then you're not ready for the message.
Yeah. Part of my problem is that most of the people who I'm up there praying for have come to me earlier in the week,
right?
Later, at
Yeah,
some
so
point,
you've already,
and they're like, I want to pray for my marriage, and I'm like, well, you can't cheat on your husband and then pray for your marriage.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't.
Yeah.
I'm happy to pray for your marriage,
Yeah.
but you standing up here doesn't change what you've done.
right.
Like,
So then
God is going to forgive you, but have you told your spouse what you've done?
Yeah.
You called me and told me, but have you told
Yeah.
your spouse?
Yeah.
So that's the kind of stuff that there's deer running in the field. It's a nature documentary. It's really hard for me to do that because I also want to shake some of those people. I want
Some of them need it.
Right. I want to ask them, what were you thinking when you did that? Why would you even say that to somebody, or why would you act that way?
Yeah.
They let the world take them over.
Well, again, that's kind of the crux of this entire conversation. Even as Christians, when we don't practice what we preach and then we allow the world to seep in, that is how we are viewed. We are viewed as sinful Christians, which, it's...
Well, and I think another consequence is it stints our growth as Christians. If we can't exercise it properly, we're not moving forward. We're not doing any better for His word. So we'll be stuck in the same place, or actually falling backwards if we can't, if we can't learn to
And
reach people
when you fall
in
backwards,
a positive way.
it seems like it's such a hard
Bounce back.
bounce back.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it
Yeah.
is really
It's
is.
funny.
Compared to like when you're not a Christian, I think.
Not all people are like that, though. I know a handful of people that you could beat them with a stick and they still manage to bounce back very quickly. And then there are some people that you can barely speak something semi-negative to them and they're crushed for years.
It is.
Listen,
bizarre.
I had a congregant one time have an inappropriate relationship with another congregant via text message. And I'm not talking like it wasn't graphic, it wasn't anything, but
So just like emotionally,
they were, well,
like
the one congregant was married, the other was in a relationship but not married, but significantly different in age. And they would send text messages like good morning. Every single morning they would send a good morning text, which on its face doesn't seem weird, right? Until they would say things like, hey, I like that new car, makes you look like a hot mama. Probably inappropriate, right? And so one congregant comes to me and says, hey, I'm really uncomfortable with this. What should I do? And I'm like, do nothing. Let me handle it. Went to that person, said, hey, not appropriate. And they left the church. Now, I don't know if maybe they left because they thought I was going to tell their wife. I don't know. But I was very clear, like, this is my expectation.
Probably.
Right.
Like, this is my expectation that you go and tell your wife before somebody else does. Because even if it's not me, somebody
Someone's
is
going
going
to
to
find out.
tell.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
there are those people, and then there are the people who you can say, hey, listen, I don't want you here. And they don't leave. Do you know what I mean?
They just stay to aggravate you.
Yeah, maybe. Just so we're clear, I'm going to say this out loud. That was not intended towards anybody in our church because I have never said that to anybody in our church, and I wouldn't. But there are there are some congregants who can wear you down very quickly, chase you out of the pulpit, want to tell you all about their life story and their situations. This is not a joke. When I say this regularly, people think I'm joking, but I'm not. I hear more about people's poop than I care to know about.
Are you serious?
It's not a joke.
No,
There's not a
it's
joke.
not a joke.
It is
Trust
not
me.
a joke. Like, I
Been there.
don't know what's wrong with me. Like, I just can't stop pooping. Or one.
You should just send them text chases.
Yes. Yeah. You might need a plumber.
Like, well, listen, I've got a good buddy. He's a.
I had one tell me one time about their black poop and just how, like, it's not I'm not joking.
No, he's not joking.
I'm
He is
not joking.
Were they
Been
taking
there.
iron or were they bleeding?
See, that's
They
where my
were-
brain would have went.
Yes,
Or was
I know.
the- Are you bleeding? Are you
2-day-old
taking iron?
infant.
Yeah. So it turns.
Does it smell really, really bad? Is it-
Yeah. I was going to say, can you go talk to
I was
Dawn
gonna say,
and Beth
hey,
about
you know,
that?
I've got some two good friends in the congregation that are actually nurses. Why don't you go?
Do you know what? No, don't even go talk to them. Just bring them a sample.
that
They
looks like
probably
C. diff.
would.
I know.
Oh,
But
well,
We'll
it's
just put it in the refrigerator in that room.
I mean, Dawn's got a pooper.
Three times
just-
a week.
It's just so weird to me that people share those things. And even when I make the jokes about it, like, they will probably listen to this and still tell me about their poop.
Well, listen, you get those little old ladies out there in the nursing home sitting at the dining room table at supper time. Did you poop today?
Oh,
Oh, they're obsessed.
Did
They're
you-
like, yeah. Was it big enough to count?
did I ever tell you about so I worked at what used to be Shunbrun Healthcare, was Morning View at the time. I was right out of high school, worked at Morning View. And this is a bizarre story, so just bear with me. I worked in the kitchen, and I always worked the late shift. So I would come in around lunch. I would be on the lunch line, so I would serve lunch, put lunch on the trays. And then I would be there late to do the dishes and to clean up before dinner. Like, we'd get all of that done. And then after dinner, we would take the nourishment carts out and we would stock the refrigerators on each of the wings. On the one wing that they had, and I don't know that it was memory care, but it was kind of like a memory care wing. You had to punch in a little code to get through the door. I went through the door. I'm pushing my little cart down there. And their kitchen is off to the right-hand side behind the nurse's station. Now, I am minding my own business. Okay, to the best of my ability. And now, like, there are some people who are sitting in their rooms watching TV and you wave as you walk by. Nope, this lady standing in her doorway, butt naked. I'm talking butt naked. And I'm like, So I go down and I suck the nourishment cart and I say to the nurse, I'm like, hey, she's down there. She's standing in the hallway. And the nurse, like, it's not even a big deal. She goes, again? It's just, you guys just have to deal with that stuff, right?
There was
Again?
there was a patient at the one place I worked at, and she was with someone, and it was a hygienist that she was with, and this hygienist, she gets very personal with you, like, great woman, you know.
Thanks.
Actually, she was the one. Was she the one that found Shy's thyroid? I think so. Anyway, people would always be like, I want such and such to clean my teeth. So it was always her. Well, she had her for like 12 years, this lady. And she's talking to her about this sore, like, on her butt, basically. At the end of the appointment, she pulls her pants down.
Oh my
and shows her. And like the rooms don't have doors or anything, so the dentist is walking back and forth at all times of the day. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Sometimes people don't realize.
They don't. No filters.
No.
Nope.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, when he was talking about nursing homes, then we better get back to subject. As I just graduated from nursing school, I actually worked at Valley Manor, which was then Morning View and then
Yes.
So I'm young, barely 20, and I'm working with these older nurses, and they just kind of let it happen to me. So at that time, there was a lot of psych patients on that floor. And the woman come up, and she's kind of rolling her hands like this. She's like, I'm passing these things.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh, okay. And they're like, well, you better take it from her. I'm like, okay. And I put my hand out, and she hands me 2 perfectly round poop balls. And I'm like,
Oh.
and then they're laughing. They're like, yeah, when she tells you she's passing things, don't put your hand out.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, now you tell me.
Oh. They did that on purpose.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Let's break the new girl.
Yep. No better way to do it.
I missed lots of laughter. I had to go get a cup of coffee and then I spilled it all over the floor.
Well, just poop stories.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't miss anything then.
No.
No, we have.
Are they texting you now?
Yes.
Who's texting me?
I'm not. We're just gonna move on with our day.
Not about poop, right?
No.
Okay.
No. Yeah, it's a picture. As a matter of fact, you guys want to see? I'm just kidding.
Oh, Mr. Hinky.
Oh, jeez, Roger, stop.
So the verse I've been looking for, which maybe I shouldn't share it because I can't find it, and I'm just going to give you the gist off the top of my head, was not allow your sin to cause somebody else to stumble
Yes.
and fall.
Yeah.
Right.
Did I preach that last Sunday? Was that last Sunday I used that one?
No.
I think you did.
I think it was last Sunday.
Yeah.
Roger wasn't paying attention.
Well, that's
Go
because I
figure.
was in nursery,
Yeah.
Where was I at?
which
It's live, isn't it?
I haven't listened to it
Okay.
yet. So, next time I go in and have that, I'm going to ask for a helper.
Get beat up. Beth got beat up in nursery. She
By
can't-
who?
She can't even defend herself.
Right. I did a couple months prior.
Kids can be rough.
Mhm.
Is it time for a Margie minute?
Yeah, because
Okay.
I think that needs to be down, right?
Nope, you can slide it up a little bit.
Can right now?
Yeah. And then press.
You got to
or-
push the button.
Okay. Do you have a Margie minute?
I did, but for the
He
life
can't
of me,
remember.
I can't remember what
Aw.
it was.
Well, when you remember, you just yell Margie minute, and we'll just
Yeah.
hit the button.
If it
Okay.
hits me, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Squirrel. What were we talking about?
Well, back to
Yes.
hypocrisy. Luke 12 says, Jesus said to his disciples, beware of the yeast of the Pharisees, their hypocrisy. The time is coming when everything that is covered up will be revealed, and all that is secret will be made known to all. Whenever you have said in the dark will be heard in the light, and what you have whispered behind closed doors will be shouted from the housetops.
So I think that's it's a great tie back to Sunday's message too. And so for those of you who know me, know I'm working up to something with these messages that I've been preaching the past couple of weeks. And so week 4 will be we're either going to get it together or we're going to all end up burning in hell. That's basically what it's going to boil down to, because we're pretending to go to church.
We're playing church.
We're
Yeah.
we're worried about running a business. We're worried about doing all of the things that a church should do. We want to, on the face, look like a church. But we aren't the church individually.
Yeah.
We are showing up and we're being part of this, what we'll call a community.
Yeah.
And frankly, sometimes, I'm not saying specifically this building, but the community isn't wrong when they look at the church as a cult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You go to
agree.
some of
Yes.
those churches and it is a cult. And it's not just a cult, it's a cult with cliques.
I
You
agree.
can't
Yeah.
walk in and talk to somebody or sit
Yeah.
down. When you sit down in the wrong seat, somebody's like, I sit there.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Like, that's not how this
Yeah.
works. Like,
Yeah.
that it doesn't work like that.
When some people, not that they've bluntly came out and said that recently, but they tiptoe around it, I think.
Mhm.
And I'm thinking, and people get offended, but I'm thinking, wait a minute, if you step back and actually think of what they said and
Yeah.
look
Yeah.
and see what they mean, like you said, I mean, God forbid you sit in someone's seat
Yep.
or, not know that you need to,
Well,
I don't even,
and if you're not up on the social, like, oh, well, so-and-so's not speaking to so-and-so, and so-and-so doesn't like
Right,
so-and-so
right.
anymore.
Yeah, we
and
can't
they
sit
can't,
there.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
if I talk to them, then they're going to be upset. Pfft,
right?
Who cares?
Listen, I don't have time to remember your drama. I don't
That
have
petty.
time to remember all of your, you know how the queen used to change her handbag from one hand to the other when she wanted out of a conversation? You just watch me just change my handbag from one to the other, because typically I don't want to be in these conversations. I love each and every one of the people that attend here, but in their own unique and special way. I am not in a position to have a conversation, an in-depth conversation with most of the people in our building, right? Like, there are some people who get to come to my house and have dinner. There are some people who do not. That's just the way that it is. And it's not because I don't like those people. It's that if we don't have something in common, why would you want to come to my house?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Why would you expect me to invite you over just so we can sit there and stare at each other? That's weird, right? But that doesn't mean that the word isn't good, that the time isn't appropriate. So I feel like the church has to stop worrying about, and because we're practicing what we preach, we have to stop being cliquish and cultish and be more about how do we get the community involved? How do we, and the Easter egg hunt is always my big push every year, because it's a huge community event, and it's the one in Tuscarawas County that everybody wants to come to.
Yeah.
Like we have kind of gotten to that point, but that can't be it. It can't be the end of the day, because when it's the end of the day, then you struggle financially. And while it's not about money, we have to be able to keep the building open, right?
Well, and if you think about it, you spend months on months planning and preparing and filling eggs and doing all of the things. And then how much do we gain I'm not saying it's a number thing. I'm just saying,
we gain nothing as far as physical attendance goes from that Easter egg hunt. But all we can hope is that story of Jesus, story of Jesus,
Right? We
story of
planted
Jesus,
that seed.
that it has
Absolutely.
landed in some child's heart somewhere, or some parent's heart somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, listen, we have Catholics that come to this thing. I'm serious. We've got, Alyssa and I know a Catholic family that comes every year, and they look forward to it. They tell us it's their favorite Easter egg hunt. We have a Presbyterian family that comes with their grandkids every year. I mean, that's just, it's what we're supposed to be doing. Now we've got Denison helping us. Like, there's so much that we could do better, bigger, greater, but we have to want it. And I feel like what we want to do is to show up on Sunday morning and say, I've put in my time. That's good enough.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I mean, I don't feel that our church is cliquey. I mean, I've been accused of that.
It's a small church, and so it's hard to be cliquey.
Yeah.
Like, our sanctuary is so small that when we greet each other in the mornings, if you don't speak to somebody, it shows that you don't like that person.
Right.
So most of the time, we're like, hey, good morning. Hey, how are you? And we speak to everybody. I agree that it's not cliquish. It feels that way because it is small, and we do have direct connection with some people. Like, this group of people could be considered a clique. Well, every time you talk about podcasts, you talk about Beth and Holly and Dawn and Sid. And I'm like, yeah, we talk about those people because they're the ones we're directly connected to, right? Like, they're the ones who serve in ministry together.
Yeah.
You know, Wednesday nights we come in here and Pastor Holly's in the room next door to us. It's a group of people working together.
Yeah.
You won't ever change that.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not
That's
going to
what that is.
Right.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that, you know, if somebody wants to be part of it, they can't show up. The door is always open. I mean, I think the front door is unlocked right now. If somebody genuinely wanted to be a part of it, they could be a part of it.
Well, and anytime someone does actually sit in on it, like we include them and talk to them, you know, like, I don't know.
Well, Dawn and I did that for her.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And that's what I was going to say. And I miss that people do that. I also don't expect people to do that.
Yeah, for sure.
To some degree.
Yeah.
But I miss that people don't. But then they don't come to Wednesday night either. When you walk in there and there's 4 people and 5 people, 6 people in Wednesday night, it's like, and we went through this. Why do we do these things if nobody's going to show up?
And I'm not calling anybody out, but you told us there's a big cry to have a Wednesday night service.
Everybody's
which is
desperate.
why we went back to it.
Yep.
Right.
Everybody's
and now
desperate.
4 people showing up.
Yep.
Dawn and I came to podcasts because we needed that midweek.
You wanted your midweek fill up.
Right.
Yep. And the problem is we sometimes run late. I don't know what time it is now. So we would have to be wrapping up right now in order to get post-production done and into the sanctuary. Now, we're not having service this evening because Pastor Holly's not feeling well. But the point is that, so sometimes we run late.
Yeah.
But we are the majority then when we go in there.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're coming in halfway through. And I'm not saying there are some people who are loyal here every Wednesday night. But the people who wanted a Wednesday night service, where are they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody needed Wednesday night, but nobody shows up.
Yeah, like it's different if you're not begging for Wednesday night services and then you don't show up. But then whenever you are begging and then
it's the
then
same.
You just stop coming.
That's why this started.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Nights we're not producing.
Yeah.
It was the same with women's conferences. Pastor Hollywood, that's not easy stuff to pull together. And she would pull it together, and then you'd have 9 women here, and 8 of them are from other churches.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like and I always, so when I look at those events, I take out her serving team. So the people who are there to serve, because not that they have to be there, because you ladies are typically serving. Not that you have to be there, but you volunteered to be there.
Yeah.
So you're already accounted for and planning to be there. If you look at just general attendees, the people who come in and sit down, it's usually a small fraction of our people compared to the people from other churches.
Yeah.
Our younger ones, I'm talking like your age,
Yeah.
they don't come.
Well,
but they need fed.
But the difference is, though, too, and this is
And I'm not being mean.
No, I know.
I'm just saying.
The difference is they don't want fed through traditional church services anymore. They want fed through things like this.
Right.
And that's where I think we struggle. We're trying to bridge the gap between 2 very different generations. This has taken a weird turn, but it's true, right?
Well, and I was thinking just now, like, because we have honestly, look at us. Like it could kind of be a breakdown of 3 and 3 right here.
This is a true depiction of the church. You've got Roger over here who represents the legacy members. I'm not being mean. I'm being serious. Who represents the legacy members. And then we just kind of like roll down the table.
Well, yeah. And I mean, like Nick is how old are you, Nick?
44.
Okay. So I figured he was 7 or 8 years younger than my parents. Like your parents and my parents, I feel like we don't have that age group. And I feel like that would connect.
There's a reason.
Both of us.
There's a reason. It's because, I'm not being mean, I'm just being very honest. When Florence was ready to retire, it was majority family and older folks. And that was it.
Yeah.
And so when I came in, I brought in a handful of younger people, but that middle-age age group is just lost.
Yeah.
And we haven't had them for 10 years, if not longer than that.
Yeah, I'd say longer.
And that's where our miss is at. We can't get together live worship because we don't have anybody that can play instruments or is dedicated to a live worship scene. And so that deters bringing in younger people. So, the people your age, Sid, and I can say that because you're younger than me, like those people want a certain experience that we will never be able to provide in person.
But I also feel that those churches that do provide that are your bigger churches.
Yeah.
And it's easier to go to those bigger churches.
Because you don't have to serve.
Well, you don't have to serve. But 2, you never get on that close relationship.
So then you're not getting noticed as much.
And you're not being held accountable.
That's yeah.
So
walk in, sit down the back pew, sneak out.
Sneak out when it's over. And even if you do sign up to volunteer, you sign up one Sunday a year, but you count as a volunteer. You know what I mean? I was at New Point, and this is no shame on New Point. They're volunteer. They have like 800 and some odd volunteers. Now, I don't know if that's at one campus or across all of their campuses, but think about that. 800 volunteers.
We can't even get 8.
I can't get over 15 for sure. Like we're not hitting 15. That's just not going to happen. It's sad.
That's my sister. She started going out to New Point. Now she's only been going there like 2.5 months, and she's already in nursery. They already got, my brother-in-law in helping park. But what do you know about them?
Right. Right. Where are you pouring into them? Where is that's what I'm saying. It's easy to say, here are all of your volunteers, or these are numbers, but it's about relationship. And we really genuinely in this building have good relationship with most of our people. And then there are some where like, you're disconnected, but you're mad at us for you being disconnected.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
Well, I've got another verse.
Okay. Hit us with it.
Matthew 23. Also in red letters. So Jesus says, outwardly, you look like righteous people, but inwardly, your hearts are filled with hypocrisy and lawlessness.
Preach.
Well, I wanted to mention about the seating. You were talking about, people in their seats. Margie and I had, I think it was a couple that asked us last week, like, oh, are these your seats? And we're like, no, absolutely not. We're like, we've sat in the back, we've sat in the front, we've sat in the middle, wherever.
Sat on the floor.
I was just going to say, you sat on the floor.
Well, Dawn and I,
I'd be happy
our
to-
crew run you out of your back row seat.
I'd be happy to give up my seat for anybody.
Yes.
that wanted to come and
Absolutely.
sit down. I would stand the whole time. if
Yeah.
that
Or I
was
would be
fun.
happy to give up this seat, not my seat.
I'll tell you what, can't you sit in front of me? Those seats are
But that's the mindset we have to have is you'd be willing to give up your seat. If you've been sitting there for 10 years, and it's your comfy spot in the church, that you're willing to stand up, give it up for somebody else so that they can be fed.
Absolutely.
I'll make an agreement. If you want your seat every Sunday, that's fine. I'll put your name on the back of it.
You got to pay for the chair.
But it costs you $5,000. That's your seat for the
It's your
rest of your
lease.
life. For the
It's your
rest of
lease.
your life, it's $5,000 to do that, though.
You know, when
Because there has to be a price. There has to
right.
be what you are willing to pay for that seat.
Yeah.
Has to be worth the salvation of other people around us. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I have to be willing to make room for them somewhere. I have to be able to make room for them somewhere else. If you want that seat, that's what it's going to cost you. Even want to pay up?
No.
No?
No,
I was
I'd
just gonna
stand
say-
if I had to.
I'll sit on the floor.
Right?
Stand in the parking lot.
Even if it's just like a creative outlook to it. So there's 7 country routes at my job, and I know 6 out of the 7. So I'm bopping around to all of them. But in the mornings, you have 7 cases, and it's just like a little cubicle that you're in. But it just feels like a different pace when I'm on Route 3 versus Route 1, because Route 1's clear to the right, but then Route 7's clear. Like, they can't ever talk to each other. You know what I mean? But then if I'm like at Route 3 one day, I'm obviously talking to Route 2 and 5. 5, I don't know why it is by 3. Anyhow, it's just a change of pace. So then if you think about it, like, I'll go sit by Dawn and Beth, and I don't know.
Have a good conversation.
Yeah,
Well, you
and
do that so I get my hand on that.
I will. But I mean, even you're talking to different people. It's a different. You might catch something that you haven't heard because your senses are out of order. So I don't know.
Jenny and Marcus make that a point. They try not to sit in the same seats 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
They try to move around. And so some of that is to get to talk to other people and experience church and listen, honestly, those of you who sit on the right-hand side, Nick, I'm talking to you guys specifically, sit on the right-hand side, it's just because you're scared of me. I have learned that I preach to the left a lot. I didn't realize I do
you
it,
do.
but I do.
Better. You're getting better.
Am I?
Yeah,
It's
you're going back and forth.
I actually think about it now whenever I preach, which is weird, but I would preach to the left all the time. I don't know why.
He slowed down a
Going
little
back
bit. I
and
remember
forth.
when I first started coming, I was
It's because I'm getting old. I'm getting old.
pace back and forth, back and forth.
See, I
I'm like,
told you.
I'm getting
my
old.
neck hurts.
Slowing me down.
Yeah.
A couple weeks ago, Rhonda brought a guest with her. She's had him here a couple weeks in a row. And she said to me, Dawn, do you want your seat back? And I'm like, Rhonda, that's not my
Yeah.
seat.
Nope.
She's like, but that's where you sit. I'm like, but it's not my seat.
I can sit in
And you know
any
what-
other
and you know
chair.
what's
Yes.
so amazing about him?
Uh-huh.
He can't speak a word of English.
Yeah.
And he's a pastor.
Yeah, that's what I heard. He's a
Wow.
pastor.
Pastored
Where was he at? Where was he from?
He's from Haiti.
Haiti.
But he moved, he got a visa or what, they allowed him to go to Chile.
Yeah.
And then like his wife has been here his wife and daughter's been here almost a year. And so he had to work and save money to make it, but he sent them on first.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
And where are they at? Where are they living?
they're in Louisiana.
Yeah.
So why is he in Ohio?
Because Rhonda's helping him get everything so
Gotcha.
he can get his work permits and all that stuff
Wonderful.
because she knows how to do all
Yeah.
that stuff. Rhonda's put she's brought 4, was it 4 or 5? I think she brought 5 boys from Haiti,
Wow.
brought them over here, put them through Central Catholic because they required that they went to a Catholic school with no financing. She
Yeah.
she did it all herself.
Wow, that's fantastic.
And then she put them through college.
Wow.
Good for her. Good for her. That's amazing. That's really impressive.
Yeah.
There aren't many people who have a passion like that.
Right.
So
No.
good for her. Now, she would be the type of person you can say practices what they preach. Do you know what I mean? Like she's not expecting anything for that, but that is something that she feels passionate about. Good for her. Good for her.
So passions brought me to thinking about Margie.
Have you come up with one?
We can't go without
For
a
some
Margie
reason, I
minute.
see a squirrel running through
geez.
my mind.
Oh, okay. Not like she was chasing a squirrel?
No.
Okay.
No, she wasn't chasing
Oh.
a squirrel. She's probably worried about one or...
Let me
Yeah.
Let me say this. We have a neighborhood cat. His name is Max. I don't like Max. Okay. Max is a long-haired, I don't know what. Okay. But there's a neighbor down the road that feeds him, but he thinks that he is just king crap and he just runs the neighborhood. Okay. So he just comes strutting through my yard, go dig a hole in my flower bed and poop.
Yep.
Mothballs.
That's what I did. But I didn't use mothballs. I used squirrel and cat repellent. They still smell like mothballs, but they're allegedly safe for animals. Like if Milo were to get a hold of one, it wouldn't kill him. I don't know if that's true or not, because then when I got them, when the box arrived, they gave you plastic gloves to touch them with. Kind of made me feel like that's not the case. But, anyhow. But this cat, and I told my wife one day, I'm like, I'm going to catch it and I'm going to get rid of the cat. Like the cat has to go. I can't take it.
Take it to Margie's.
That's what I was going to say. So I can create my own Margie Minute.
Yeah.
I can just drop the cat off at Margie's. You guys don't have a long-haired cat, do you? It would add to the collection.
That orange one he's probably the longest haired one we have.
Max could add to the collection.
No, please don't.
But you got to keep
Then
his
you'd
name.
have to get a Ruby. Max and Ruby.
Max and Ruby. Jeez. Those were bunnies, though, not cats.
Yeah.
I had birds when
But
I
it was really hot this week through the weekend. So we
Yeah.
weren't outside a lot.
Yeah.
So there wasn't a lot of good opportunities.
Yeah.
for that kind of thing. So that's why I'm running dry here.
No bird hunting or.
No.
Well, I've been feeding a stray.
Oh,
If
jeez.
Jarvie finds out, I'm in big trouble.
Jeez.
What color is it?
It's gray.
Yeah, Nick would like to have a gray cat, I hear.
We have three.
He's
We have
so
three of them.
smart. I said, why can't my dog be this smart? You put his.
Because you won't use the button.
If you
That's
put-
why.
If you put like food on a paper plate for him, he chases it all over. This cat put his paw down on that plate and just licked
It's because
all-
that,
ate it all
because
the
that
way
cat's been
around it.
fed somewhere else, and it's not stupid. It's learned.
Yeah. When do you feed it? Every day or just on the weekends?
Well, on the weekends I'm not there.
He's out
so-
running around.
Yeah, and it's an old beat up tomcat. I mean, he looks pretty bad right now. He's pretty thin, but wintertime he's as fat could be, and he
Yeah, we have one we call Fat Cat.
he tears up like at Christmas time. I have a porch. What do you call it? Cushion. So I'll wrap it in red blankets and it's all looks red and everything. He'll go out there and he's got it all balled up, sleeping there, and he's like, "Oh, good morning. Where's my warm milk?"
On the button story with Milo. So I have a golden doodle. He's actually a really good dog, and I would say loosely, he's actually a very smart dog.
I thought you were going to start bringing him to church.
Well, okay, we're not there yet. He's still got to grow out of the puppy face just a little bit. He doesn't jump on people. What I was going to say, though, is that he is a different dog when he has his collar on and when he doesn't have
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
100%.
Yes.
So he
I've
has,
seen,
he has a
with
training
him.
collar. He went to board and train. He was gone for 2 weeks, cost me $3,000. Best money I've ever spent on a dog, okay? I'm serious. Because he was gifted to us to be, because we're a pastoral family. I don't want to call him a therapy dog, but that was the gist of it. That was the idea, the concept. So he was gifted to us from a lady who breeds them to be service animals and emotional support animals.
Yeah.
Okay. Milo had to go to board and train because he wouldn't stop jumping on you. Like he was always on you. So we took him out there. He doesn't do that as long as his collar is on. You put that collar on him, he's a different dog. He just lays down on the floor and just looks at you. And he
Well,
doesn't
you
look
don't wanna
sad.
you don't want to get shot.
He doesn't look sad. He just lays there and looks at you, and he'll put his head on your lap and let you pet him. When I get in bed, he'll lay on top of me and let me pet him. Like you take that collar off, that dog loses his mind. It's I don't know.
Have you thought about keeping it on all the time?
We do. Even when it's dead, we'll put it on him
I
because
was gonna
he
ask.
thinks that it works when it's on. So as long as he can feel that collar on, he is a different
that remote.
dog.
Yeah.
Listen, when he does have the collar on, I don't even have to have the remote.
Yeah.
I can pick the TV remote up. Do I need to use the button?
So
Stop.
our remote is on a carabiner, so it's on one of those like climbing clips, and he hears that thing jingle when he lays down. Just get straight to the floor and stare at you.
Well, we finally started taking him to the boat on the weekends. All last year, we paid somebody $15 a trip, 3 times a day to come let the dog out. And so I'm like, let's just take him. Driver's like, I can't take him in, that small area. He's good.
That's good.
Yeah. I think that so Milo gets the zoomies and will take off through the house just 100 miles an hour, just because our living room, dining room, kitchen, hallway, it's like one big circle. And to him, it's a racetrack. He just 100 miles an hour around that loop. It just never stops.
That's what he does on the boat. If I have the glass sliding door open, he just goes around. Although
Till he hits the sliding door.
listen, he pooped on the back of the boat.
Oh, boy.
no.
I got to get this off of there before you're dead.
See?
Uh-huh.
See? Here we go again.
poop.
Hear about the poop.
Yep.
But I'm like, the poor guy's all confused. He's outside.
Yeah.
But he's on water, so he's like, what's going on?
Yeah. What am I supposed to do here?
Yeah.
How big is your houseboat? Do you know? Like,
Big enough that we don't take it out in the water very
Oh,
often because
geez.
we can't park it.
well, because
I think it's 38 or 40 feet long.
Okay. Because my father-in-law has, and it's a small one, but like he's had it forever. Like he didn't have grandkids at the time. Well, now there were four out
I saw you
Saturday
guys.
night.
Yeah.
And I was just sitting there at one point. I'm like, I'm feeling very overstimulated because there were two jumping off.
Yeah.
And I mean, they were just being kids,
Yeah.
you know, but then I'm like, Cooper was a little fussy because, again, we're on water and like, what's going on, you know? And
So
then
is
he
it
got
a houseboat or pontoon?
It is a houseboat.
A houseboat.
Yes. So basically, there's a small, tiny little porch, and then the inside it's just like a half of a living room. I mean,
It's a hut.
tiny. Yeah. I mean, I'd say 20 foot by 20 foot, maybe like little.
Now, see, we have two full-size overstuffed recliners in there.
Oh, yeah. No.
I got an apartment-size
No.
fridge.
Yeah. This has like a love seat for the couch inside.
And then it has a full-size bed, and then the
Yeah, no.
bunk.
And this bed is
Twin
like a
above
twin. Like it was
Oh, geez.
tiny, but I mean, I'm like, yeah, I just have to think about that. Like, okay, you know, I got to remember. I mean, we were out on the water. I'm like, even if Cooper, I mean, yeah, they could technically take us back in, but I didn't want to be, you know,
Yeah,
a pain in
party
the
boat.
butt. But I'm like,
Now,
even
does
if
it have
we
a
wanna-
bathroom and everything?
It does. Yeah.
Yeah, it just dumps out of the bottom of the boat.
Yeah, but very little, very little.
I have a real problem lately. And when I'm on vacation, it's even worse than when I go to work with the overstimulation with the kids thing. Like, that's really hard on me. Really hard on me. Because I'm used to being around adults all day. Do you know what I mean? Like when I go to work, it's adult. And we have fun and we laugh and we carry on, but it's not like kids who need something constantly. Like Easton and Adeline constantly crying about something. She wants a new bed. Okay. And actually what she wants is a ceiling fan.
Give the
thought you
girl
wanted
a
a new
ceiling
bed.
fan.
Okay. But she has a loft bed.
Yeah.
So she's too close to the ceiling fan. So I'm not going to put one in. And I told her, if we put in a ceiling fan, you have to get a new bed. You have to get a lower bed. My wife's like, I'm not buying her a new bed. Not going to.
What does she want a ceiling fan for?
Okay, so just recently, she would tell my wife, Mom, after you leave, I take my shirt off because I'm hot. She sleeps without her shirt on, and she thinks it's like this hilarious thing that she's sleeping without her shirt on. But anyhow, so she wants a ceiling fan because she says she gets hot at night.
Well, yeah, if she's in a lot
Up higher.
sucked right up
It's-
against the ceiling.
It's not really. It's,
Oh.
I mean,
Or I know when I was a kid, I would like throw stuff on my ceiling
that's what I was
fan.
going to say. I'm guessing
like stuffed animals.
I'm guessing she wants a ceiling fan because I put one in Easton and Emmett's room about 6 months ago. So I'm guessing she just wants a ceiling fan because they have a ceiling
Yeah.
fan. Right. So
Or
anyhow,
a canopy bed.
anyhow, well, we've looked at, so we found a full-size bed that has LED lights in the headboard. It's pink, upholstered headboard. She loves it. And Alyssa's like, I'm not spending money on a new bed. She doesn't need a new bed right now. Anyhow, long and short of it, what was I even talking about? Oh, so she's crying because she wants a bed. And I tell her, we're not buying a bed. Absolutely not. We're not buying a bed. So then she finds something else to cry about. Like she gets over that one and now she's crying about something else. Easton wants to do that. Oh, he wants to go in her room and play, but she said no. So now I'm like, I can't. I have got to go back to work. I just can't do it.
That's what my daughter said today. She's like, please, Mom, don't think I'm mean. I love Rosalind. I love her.
But can you please come get her?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard. It's really hard, especially when you're not used to.
I was telling my therapist, I was like, you know, I still like get overstimulated. And then I think like, how was I doing this 24/7 with like being here, you know, with him? And it is good to get away though.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
And Aunt Tanya was telling me like when I think like 2 days before I was getting ready to go back, she's like, whenever you do go back though, just remember like the time that you do have with Cooper, it'll be more quality time.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
More treasured.
Yep.
So
Alyssa went and got her eyebrows waxed today. My wife is the most low maintenance person you ever meet. She doesn't get her hair cut, colored, any of that stuff regularly. So she went and got her eyebrows waxed today. And I wanted to come to the church earlier because I had other things I wanted to get done today. And so she comes into the bedroom. I was taking my post-lunch nap when she came in. And I thought, I'll take a nap and then I'll just go down to the church. She comes in and she's like, hey, I'm going to go get my eyebrows waxed. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'll wait to go to the church. And you could I could see it in her face, and she goes, "Well, I can just cancel it and change it to another day." And I'm like, "Well, that's dumb, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm here." I said, "No, go." I said, "I'll just go back to sleep." I didn't. I did try, but Easton kept moving because he likes to snuggle me when I sleep, which just means he gets to watch TV in my bed. But he tosses and turns, so he kept me awake. But anyhow, and she was gone for a little while, not a terribly long time, but long enough. And I don't complain about that stuff because otherwise she's around the kids all the time.
That's what I was going to say. I admire her.
Yeah,
very
she's
much.
around the kids all the time.
I couldn't do homeschool and then be mom, be teacher, be mom.
I give her a hard time because she's it feels like she's always on the phone. Like I always feel like every time.
Yeah, but that's her outlet. That's her only outlet.
I feel like I go to talk to her and she's on the phone with her sister, and I'm like, dude, can I talk to you for a second? And she'll just, if she's on the phone, she'll just walk into another room. If I follow her into that room, she'll leave and go to another because she wants to have that conversation with somebody that's not me and not her kid.
Well, listen, Dawn can drop me off, and before she's in the house, I'm calling her. Hey,
Alyssa and I are like that too, though. So I have to be careful with Easton's here, but so we don't do birthday parties anymore. We do something with the kids. And this year we bought Easton tickets to see the Cleveland Browns play. Who are they playing?
Well, the opener?
It's a preseason
Packers?
game. No.
Dallas?
Who does JJ McCarthy play for?
you have to Google that.
Oh, shoot.
It's not the Chiefs, is it?
No. Those
I
tickets
thought the Browns and Cowboys were playing opener.
No, it's not the opener. It's not the opening game. It's a preseason game.
You sure it's not
preseason?
the Packers?
Yeah, I'm positive.
Is it 49ers?
Nope. Atlanta Falcons. No, it's not the Falcons.
Beth's looking it up.
It's not the Falcons.
No, that's just another. While she's looking that up, I was stupid and got online. I was like, okay, maybe if I just look up self-pay insurances, because normally I'm like, they're normally outrageous. Well, I knew someone who had Aetna for something, and then she got it it was through an employer, but then she ended up getting it with herself, and I looked into it. Anyway, they sold my information to all these health. I mean, there was 27 missed calls within 19 minutes, and they're texting me too. I'm like, I'm going to have to change my number.
Alyssa and I were looking for a home equity line of credit because we wanted to put the windows and doors in. That was a $12,000 purchase. We didn't want to deplete the savings to put in doors and windows. So we were going to use Discover, which is who we have our savings account with. We use our Discover It card for just about everything. Long story short, they sold all of our information. I ended up not using them because of it. But dude, the morning that we applied, I drove to work that morning. I had 26 missed calls on the drive to work.
Well, and it's at the top of the hour, 8 a.m., 10 a.m. There's 2 of them calling at the same time.
I'll take the call.
The Vikings.
That's what I was going to say. It's the Minnesota Vikings. I looked it up too. I took one of the calls and I told the lady, we've already found somebody and she's like, are they giving you the best interest rate possible? I said, ma'am, I don't care. I don't want to talk to you.
Sorry.
Just stop.
And the thing is they'll text me oh, I was wondering if you found a good rate yet. I'm sure this can be overwhelming. I bet you didn't know what you were signing up for when you did that. I'm like, no, I did not.
I didn't realize you were going to call me 100 times.
My favorite one is about the Medicare when they call me.
Oh, yes.
Want to give me all that.
Yeah.
It just annoyed me so much. But now I just let them go through their spiel. Well, would you be interested in that? Boop. Yeah. How old do I have to be?
Yeah. Right.
And they're like, click.
So I said that earlier to tell you that. So for Alyssa's birthday, she has decided that she wants to go see Simone Biles in Pittsburgh, and her and Steph are taking Adeline to see Simone Biles in Pittsburgh. So it's a best of gymnastics deal. They were going to be in Cleveland, but Simone wasn't going to be in Cleveland, so she's going to Pittsburgh to see Simone.
That's neat.
So yeah,
coming up.
Yeah, I think that one's in October, something like that.
Cool.
But let me tell you, insanity. We are not a sports family. We just aren't. But the Olympics came around, and dude, that changed quick. We were watching Olympic soccer. We were watching, you name it, we were watching it.
This morning,
crazy.
Water polo.
Yeah.
Basketball.
Climbing just like a wall.
Yeah.
I watched that this morning. I'm like, what? They just look like monkeys. They did.
Basketball, we got really into basketball. We got really into soccer. gymnastics, obviously, that was the big one for us. As a matter of fact, Roger called me, and I was like, "Hold on, Roger, hold on, you gotta wait, you gotta wait, buddy." Because it was one of our USA girls. I don't remember who it was, but regardless, but the new one that my family has taken a hold of. Prepare yourselves. Synchronized swimming.
Swimming. I was just gonna say.
It is so weird, but it is so mesmerizing.
You know, they have synchronized divers.
These ladies would, it was crazy.
Did you see their head stuff? Like the one team had like, I don't know, they slicked their hair back, and then I think they had caps on their, head. Mm-hmm. But it looked like it was a paper mache, and it had a full face.
Yeah.
It was crazy. So bizarre.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
We were watching these girls. They were like, head down, arms straight down, and they're doing these kicks and whatnot. But they're under the water for a solid minute.
They're spinning,
and like all completely synchronized. I'm like, how I couldn't even stay down that long, let alone upside down, and like it was crazy. But anyhow, that's
listen. So like Rhonda, we grew up just a few doors down from each other. So during the Olympics, we'd always have the Olympics, and they'd all do their gymnastics. I was a chunky monkey. I never could do a cartwheel or any of that stuff. So I'm like, I'm just being a judge because you guys are heroes. I'm just being a judge.
So
I'm all-time judge.
Have you seen Kevin Hart's coverage of the Olympics at all?
Mm-mm.
I clicked on it this morning, and it's him and some guy with the last name Thompson. He's an actor. Anyway, Kevin Hart was saying, I don't know if this is true or not, but it seemed like he knew what he was talking about. But he said he used to swim competitively. And he was saying one of the most discouraging things is whenever you hit the wall and then turn back, but then someone's already passing you to turn back and you haven't even hit your wall and you're like, oh man, I gotta finish.
So we have really taken to gymnastics, but it's because Adeline loves gymnastics, and so we have been working through. So she does both gymnastics and dance, and now she's in a acro class too. But this girl can do just about everything that you can imagine that a little kid should not be able to do. And every time, when we went to the acro class, they said, so the acro class is at Moxie. This message is brought to you by Moxie. They said to us, if she were in a class here, she would have to be in our most advanced class for her age because she can do stuff that these other girls can't even dream about doing right now. So she goes to gymnastics, and she's in the big kid class in gymnastics at the Y. It's a whole thing. Anyhow, she wants to do dance, but she wanted to do competition dance. And at the end of the day, competition dance falls on Sundays. And we were just like, I'm not for it. And we ask ourselves, is she a gymnast or is she a dancer?
Right.
And this kid is always in a leotard, and she's always doing back bends and front walkovers and front handsprings and whatever other crazy stuff she can do. And so we decided we weren't going to do dance at this point. We're going to let her do her, I think she's doing jazz and hip hop are her two. We expected her to do ballet, but she has decided.
As much gymnastics she does and she loves, you better just start that cheerleading fun now.
Well, cheerleading, she doesn't enjoy.
But
if she can do all that competition cheerleading where she's doing all that.
Oh, we're not doing that.
And all that.
No, we're not doing that.
What about the girls in Dover? What are they do the halftime show. Do they do any flexibility things? Does anyone know what I'm talking about?
I don't know. I've decided I'm going to take up magic as a career and just have her as my assistant because she can fold herself literally. I have never met a kid that can do that stuff. So I'm going to saw her in half and she can just fold up in one side of the box. So
I feel like it might be more of a dance team though.
She loves to dance. She does, but she's just the gymnastics part is. So we went to Dick's Sporting Goods in Canton. Don't. It's stressful. Don't. And while we were there, they had Team USA leotards that were similar to the leotards that the girls were. $90 a piece, and she wanted them all.
Wow.
Crazy. But
it must be very stressful in that store because I called Tyler and I'm like, where are you at? He's like, school shopping. I said, well, where are you at? Dixon Canton.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay. So I'm like, I better let
all right.
you go.
What day was that? Because if it was after I went, I told him not to go to Canton. He's like, I was there yesterday. It wasn't that bad.
I'm thinking it was either yesterday. Or
Yeah. All right, buddy. All right, buddy. It's stupid. I don't know what's going on in Canton, but it is dumb. Like, I get Hall of Fame week was happening, but Canton is stupid.
Is it tax-free week right
Yes.
now?
Yes.
Well, that's
Yes.
why.
Yeah.
So you have all the tax-free. I was in Staples today to do an Amazon do 2 Amazon returns. I waited almost 20 minutes to drop off those Amazon returns because there was just a line. There's one cash register open in that store and a line. And this lady, she's like having personal conversations. What school do you go to? She scans their pack of pencils. Oh, do you have all of your supplies? Do you need to get? And I'm like, oh, lady. She's nice though. So. Super.
Why don't you take them to UPS?
So you have a choice.
Yes.
And UPS on the one item was going to cost me to drop it off.
Yeah.
So I just did both Staples. But
So I went down to the gift shop at the hospital, which is my downfall because of their jewelry in there.
oh, geez.
It is pretty in there.
And
Yeah.
so I actually bought like 2 water container things for the kids for the boat. And they're like, it's tax free. And I'm thinking, oh, I said, when's the last day?
What else can I get?
She's like, I think it ends tomorrow. I'm like, I'll be back. I got to look at my closet, look at my clothes, see what color jewelry I need. I will be back.
What else can I buy?
Payroll deduction hurts.
Just sign it.
Yeah. I dated a girl who worked for Cleveland Clinic, like big Cleveland Clinic. And she would do that in the pharmacy. So like if she needed whatever, she would just, and she was like, you don't realize how often you're doing it until like, because they, in their pharmacy was, again, this thing was like a mini store. She could get like just toiletries and things like that, but they always cost significantly more than they would be if she just
about 3 times.
Yeah.
went somewhere else. And so she'd come home with a tube of toothpaste that cost $7 that you can get at Walmart for $3. And she's like, that payroll deduction comes and your paycheck is just gone.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted to go yesterday, but I'm thinking, oh, which pay?
Oh, geez. Yeah.
I already got this much coming in.
That's crazy. Anything else? Any other consequences of not practicing what we preach?
Let me give you one more verse.
Yeah, let's do it.
From Matthew 23 again. The teachers of religious law and the Pharisees are the official interpreters of the law of Moses. So practice and obey whatever they tell you, but don't follow their example, for they don't practice what they preach. They crush people with unbearable religious demands and never lift a finger to ease the burden. Everything they do is for show.
Wow. So let's put that one into context for just a second. So I always say that when I preach a message, my expectation is that everybody goes home and studies it out on their own. How many people do that? 10%, maybe. I think that's probably being generous, saying 10%. Most of them just take it at face value. Now, so that means that I could just be saying things to burden you, and I'm not actually giving you anything that's life-giving or fruitful. So the point is, as Christians, when we go out and we tell the world about Jesus, it shouldn't be a bunch of you can't do that, you shouldn't do that, don't do that, don't do this. It should be about life abundant, right?
Right.
About encouraging them to seek God and to seek relationship with Christ, but not burdening them with all of the legalistic things. Listen, you're going to find Christians that smoke all over the place. You're going to find Christians that drink all over the place. You're going to find Christians that do all sorts of
gossip,
eat, all of those things. But the crazy part is we can categorize what we think is better than other things. Like, so gossip is okay. And overeating is okay, but you can't smoke because somebody might physically see you do that. Somebody might see you at a bar drinking, so you can't do that. Right?
Right.
I mean, look around at some of just a blanket statement. Look around at some of the pastors in the United States who are gluttonous. Do you know what I mean? Like they're massively overweight because what they do is they go out, they eat lunch out every Sunday after church, and they don't care for their bodies, but they want to tell everybody else about their sins. So,
which, just in case no one does know, it's in the Bible to take care of your body.
Yes.
So
It's the temple.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I smoke 2 packs a day. 5th of whiskey, 2 packs of cigarettes. I mean, I'm feeling good.
Chase used to work with this guy. His name, well, I only know him by 2-Pack Steve.
2 packs.
It's like, okay.
Steve always had a cigarette hanging out of his mouth, just hanging off his lip. Wasn't even smoking it, just hung off his lip.
Dan, the drywall man. You can't make it up.
I've got a guy for everything, and I'm the same way. Usually they have a weird name. I've got one guy on my phone. His name is Jake Drywall Guy.
Yeah.
That's how I know him. I don't know Jake's last name. I know that Jake is a drywall guy. And when I need drywall work done, I send a text. Jake, drywall guy. Like just, hey, Jake, got a project for you. He's like, all right, I'll stop by and take a look. Like that Chase is in there as Chase Plumber. I'm just kidding. He's not really.
I have
Is that how he's in your phone, Chase Plumber?
I have a couple different people in my phone, like as most of the time I'll put their first and last names, but the ones in my phone for work, well, but this is why, because I was saying, hey Siri, call Missy, who's yeah, see Beth? And it called Chase's Aunt Missy.
Oh, geez.
So I've got like Missy, P.O., like post office.
Yeah.
So you try to act like you really meant to
Yes.
call 'em?
I'm like, oh, how are the grandbabies?
I have, in my phone, I have some people entered as in my phone as spam risk, do not answer.
Oh, nice.
No, I'm just kidding. I don't really, but that's a great idea.
That is a good
yeah.
idea.
What? Listen, he didn't check my text. It's
Yeah.
been from 2 days ago.
Let's check that.
Potential spam.
Let's see that. I do have an unread text message. Let's see here. Oh, you sent me a no, that's why. So there's why. I probably read it on my watch, and it was the picture was the last thing to come through.
Oh.
And so it said see phone, and I never, because once I read it on my watch, it reads it on my phone. So that was
Well, I
probably
sent
why.
you a happy birthday.
Yes, you did.
I was trying to find a frog.
Belated
That was a
birthday, but
turtle.
that's
Yeah.
okay. We'll let it slide.
Well, I was going to say something on
Fine.
the day, and then I think I fell asleep.
Well, to be fair, you said it could be 2 days.
Yes, well,
Yes.
Yeah.
but she was actually
Late.
Like on the last day?
It had to be the 4th or the 5th.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So
Gotcha.
I technically a day early from when I celebrate. So yeah. That it?
Yep.
Yeah, I
that's
wanted
it.
to set a meeting up with him tonight.
Yeah. Well, here we are.
Yeah.
Meeting away.
I did have a meeting as I chased him.
I was going to say, as you walked
he
around
was
with him,
I was carrying totes and stuff around, and she's following me
you're
talking.
like, hey, carry a tote. Why don't you?
I'm like, man, I can't get rid of her.
I wasn't going to carry no tooth. I just had that back injection on Monday.
Oh, goodness gracious. What else we got? Anything else? That's it?
That's it.
All right. Who's praying?
Roger.
Go for it.
Oh, Heavenly Father, we do thank you, Lord, for this day. Lord, we just ask that you would just take and be with each one of us, Lord. Just allow us to show the love of Christ, Lord.
Yes.
And just if we're doing something that we shouldn't be doing, that just show us, Lord, that this is not what we should be doing. And Lord, we just thank you and praise you, Lord, just that we just are here, Lord.
Yes.
We thank you for this group of people, Lord. We have a good time, a lot of laughs,
Yes.
but we're here to love and to support and to let people know, Lord, that you are the way, the truth, and the light, Lord. And we just thank you for that. We just ask us all in Jesus' name. Amen.
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 Hey friends, Pastor Michael again. If you've enjoyed this podcast, you should consider joining us on Sunday mornings. Our address is 1943 North Water Street Extension in Yorksville. We'd love to have you join us for an in-person service.